If you are an AI filmmaker and you want to learn how to take any look, any mood, any cinematic style that you find on the internet and apply that directly to your own AI cinematic scenes, then you're definitely going to want to watch this video from beginning to end, because in this video, I'm going to show you how to use Flora, which is a node-based workflow, to literally copy any cinematic style or scene and apply that style consistently to all of your AI cinematic scenes. Now, the concept is very similar to what we call color grading in regular filmmaking, and you've seen that on this channel. I've often referenced things like the Matrix, to where the cinematography is one color when Neo is actually in the Matrix, and the color is a completely different vibe when Neo is not in the Matrix. And previously in post-production, you had to use something called a LUT, which is a lookup table, and lookup tables or LUTs were used to emulate the look, feel, mood, and style of major Hollywood productions, or even apply your own style to your scenes. And again, this all ties back to the purpose of this channel, which is taking things that worked for regular filmmaking and to extract those best practices and use them within AI filmmaking. So I'm going to walk you through step by step how to actually do these style transfers, extract any style that you find and apply it to your AI cinematic scenes, again using this awesome workflow in a tool called Flora. And just as a quick reminder, if you want to follow along and get started with this tool absolutely for free, and not only get free credits but get 25% off your entire first year if you decide to join up and subscribe to the tool, then make sure to use my partner link in the description below, because that's the only way you'll be able to get that 25% discount applied. So with that said, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Before we begin, I want to show you really quickly why this workflow is very important for AI filmmaking. And right here we're in Midjourney and we're under the styles tab that they have, and as you can see just from the face of it, Midjourney has some of the best styles out of any AI image generation tool out there, hands down. I've not seen these type of styles that look this cinematic and this aesthetically pleasing with any tool that I've used to date, be it the closed source models such as Nano Pro or Seedream 4 or even Z Image, and I've also not seen anything like this with any of the open source models that I've been testing with things like Stable Diffusion. So let's just go ahead and establish that as the baseline. You're not going to get any styles that look this aesthetically pleasing anywhere else on the internet other than at Midjourney. This is their moat. When it comes to cinematic style, no one is touching Midjourney at this moment. But what's so cool about this workflow that I'm going to show you is that you can come to Midjourney and you can take any of these styles that you see right here on your screen, and you can use this style transfer trick that I'm going to show you so that you can take this out of Midjourney and into your projects, because the SREF feature, which is unique to Midjourney, you can't use SREFs outside of Midjourney, as most of you may know. There's also no way to use Midjourney via the API outside of Midjourney. So again, Midjourney has this walled garden and it's their platform. They can do whatever they want. But again, what I'm going to show you is going to allow you to take the styles that you find within Midjourney and apply them to your own projects. Now, obviously, we're talking about Midjourney here, but this will apply to any image that you found that has the look and style that you want. But for my purposes, as someone who still subscribes to Midjourney to this day, it's just a lot easier for me to come here and check out all of the cool styles that are already out there in existence, select one, and then use that style for my AI filmmaking workflows. So I hope that's pretty clear to you why this is very important. Now let's actually jump into the workflow and show you how to actually pull this off. So there are two ways to go about this that I recommend, and they actually both achieve the same result, but I'm showing you both workflows just to give you some options. And as we go about each, I'll tell you why you might decide to go with one method over the other. Now, as you can see, I've got two boxes or nodes on the canvas. One is called Style Extraction, and this is a text node. And you can see right here, I already have a prompt somewhat filled in already. And the one on the left is an image node. And I've also got a prompt already filled in on this one as well. But the first one we're going to work with is the Style Extraction block right here. So I'm just going to move this out of the way and I'm going to focus on this block right here, and there are a couple of things that we need. We first need an image to do the color extraction on, and we need a second image to transfer the style that we've extracted. Now, you can create an image for this, but this actually works out best when you see a style out there that you like and you want to use that style, and maybe this comes from an image that you've generated in the past. So I'm actually over here in Midjourney, and these are some images that I generated in the past, and this one looks very cinematic. I like the tone, I like the mood, and I like the lighting. So I'm going to use this image right here. But if you don't have an image and you don't want to take the time to think of something, then what you could also do is go over to the Explore tab, and I'm going to filter this on images, and you can just scroll through here and see some of the many images that other people on Midjourney have already generated. Like this one actually looks pretty cool. I'll heart that. I'm not going to use it in this example, but I just want to give you an idea of what you can do, because people are making some awesome images on Midjourney, and I'm already seeing a lot of them that I potentially may want to use for style transfers / style extractions later. So what I'm going to do is just bring in that image from Midjourney, and what you want to do is just click this button right here, and I've placed that image here on my canvas. I'm going to hit F, and you see it right there. And that's another update for you guys. At first you had to hold Command F or Control F, but now after you highlight the image, all you have to do is hit F and it brings it up, and if you hit F again, it closes that window out. I'm still waiting on the double click option, but that works fine for now. Another thing I'll bring in is another image that I was working with. So what I'm going to do is click on Assets, and here it is right here, and this is the image that I'm going to do the transfer on, but it's not as straightforward as you probably think, so we're going to walk through this step by step. Okay, step one in this process is we're going to extract the color from this image, and we're going to use this prompt right here. It says extract the style and organize it into a modular text format, just like below, referring to this right here. And it says add more categories if needed. On this node, I've got Sonnet 4.5 selected, and that's the LLM I'm going to be using for this. I just happen to like Claude's Sonnet over GPT and Gemini in terms of the way it converses with you, but feel free to use whatever LLM you want. Granted, it has to be one of the ones that are available within Flora, and for now that's only Anthropic, OpenAI, and Gemini. So what I'm going to do is take this and connect it to this node right here, and as you can see, the image here popped up right here, and when we hit enter, or when we press this little arrow, all of this plus this is going to give us some stuff right here. Let's check it out. And this was the end result. As you can see, the style is being described right here. That pulls from this. Same thing with the texture. You see that down here. You see this with the accent colors. That's also down here as well. And there's nothing else in this prompt, but we did say add more categories if needed. And it's got lighting, mood, composition, color palette, and it's also showing atmosphere, which is somewhat hidden beneath the reference image. And now we need to actually go through this prompt and make sure that we only keep everything that's actually needed to do the transfer on this image below. Now, what I wanted to do now is to go through this prompt and take out everything that may end up confusing the AI, because when we ran this, not only did it extract the styles, but I've noticed in past testing that it also extracts information about the person in the image, and that's not what we want, because again, we've already got our reference image down here, and all we're going to do on this image is just restyle the color. So for instance, atmosphere, rainy day, cozy interior, quiet, blah blah blah. This isn't going to be part of the overall look, so I'll take that out. Color palette, desaturated teals and cyans, yep, we want to keep that in. Composition, that's referring to the person in this image, and we don't want that because we've already got the composition in our reference image that we're going to do the transfer on, so we'll take that out. Introspective, melancholic, mood, I'll keep that one in because I do want to maintain the overall look. Lighting, this one may be tricky. It says dramatic side lighting from window, and I do not want a window to appear in the image, so maybe I'll just say this and do that. We'll keep everything else. Accent colors, yep, we want that. And this is what I was talking about a minute ago. As you can see, when we get the texture, it starts talking about raindrops on the glass, fabric texture in the knitted sweater, smooth skin tones with subtle shadow gradients. That's describing this person and some other things going on in that image. And again, I want to keep the AI from getting as confused as possible, so I'm going to take that out. And then finally we come to style, which was part of the original ask, and it says cinematic portrait photography, moody and contemplative, natural window light. Again, this may or may not confuse the AI. So maybe I just remove window and just say natural light. Everything else looks good. Okay, now that the prompt is how we need it, I'm going to add one more thing to this prompt to get it ready for the next step. Let me do something just right quick. I'm going to hold the shift key and I'm going to press enter twice. I'm going to come here and I'm going to hit paste. And this says refer to the first image, keep the exact same person with identical facial structure and figure measurements, preserve exact body type and portions from the first image, do not alter bust, waist or hip measurements, maintain the pose exactly, and then it tells it to retexture first image in the style of the second image, referring to the below prompt. So again, think about the flow of this. The first thing we did was connect this to this using this prompt, and then we got this, and now we're going to take this and apply it to another image node to do the transfer. So I'm going to zoom out a bit and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to double click here, I'm going to click an image node. I'm going to go ahead and use Seedream 4.5 because that one has been holding up pretty consistently, and the reference image, the futuristic fashion model, is in 2.3. That's what I want to keep, and I want to make sure the resolution is on at least 2K. We've got two options, but I'm just going to stick with 2K. Let me line this up a bit, and since the prompt is saying refer to the first image, I'm going to connect this first, and we're supposed to get something from the second image, so I'm going to connect that next. And as you can see right here, this is the order, and if for some reason you didn't connect this up correctly, you can always drag these around, but everything looks good so far. And not to forget, we also need to connect this up to this, otherwise nothing happens. Now you see what happened when I connected this to this node right here. Everything from the top of this node shows up right here. It's giving this image node instructions on what's supposed to happen. Again, everything carried over. Refer to the first image, this one right here, keep the exact same person, blah 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 blah, then retexture first image in the style of second image, referring to the prompt below. And that's everything that we cleaned up. And so with that said, I'm just going to hit return and let's see what we end up with. And this was the resulting generation, and honestly, I'm going to press F. This looks fantastic. If you look at the prompt down here, you'll see that everything that we prompted for was captured. And I'm actually glad we kept in this dramatic side lighting and removed things like window, because it gave the AI more room to experiment. And again, this looks like a flawless transfer, and it looks exactly like the reference image right here, save for the style that we completely washed over it. Now, another thing you can do, just so that you can see a comparison of how these other image models compare to Seedream 4.5, is you can just highlight the node and just press something like Command D. It's going to duplicate it, and I'm actually going to do this 2 more times. So there's that, there's this, and there's this. And there aren't going to be too many other image models that you will be able to use with this, except for the models that do edits. And the best ones I've found so far is Qwen Edit, which can be hit or miss, and you're going to find that under the Alibaba selector. So we're going to click that one. Over here, we're going to select Kling 01 because this one actually works out pretty well as well during my testing. And probably the only other one you'd be interested in is Nano Banana Pro, which I've pinned at the top. As you can see here, you can absolutely pin the models that you use the most. But again, with Nano Banana Pro, make sure that you select something like 2K or 4K. I'm going to go with 2K. And what you can do is you can highlight all 3 of these at the same time, hit enter, and they'll all start generating at the exact same time. And these are the results from that batch. As you can see, each has their own way of interpreting the instructions. In my testing, I found that Qwen is usually the worst at following the prompt instructions. As you can see, it basically just replaced the woman in the original photo, which was this one over here, with this woman. And I do like the vibe of the image, but it's not what we asked for. And even though I took things out like rain and window, it still added it in. Kling 01 is actually really good at keeping things consistent as well. And again, it took the colors that we wanted and kept everything else out, but I noticed it does not have that side lighting that it did in the Seedream 4.5 version, but this still looks pretty good. And Nano Banana Pro, it can be hit or miss. I mean, it did somewhat of a transfer, but it basically did the exact same thing that Qwen Edit did, which was just to place this woman in the image that we were doing the transfer off of. Also changed her pose, because if you remember, in the original image, she's looking at the camera, but Nano Banana had her looking outside of the window, which is what this woman is doing. doing in this image right here. And so if I were to rank these just for my record keeping, I would say Seedream 4.5, then Kling 01, and these two are pretty much a toss-up, but since Qwen kept her looking at the camera, that's a win. And Nano Banana is the one I would say came in 4th place. So again, if we go back to a bird's eye view, this is everything we completed for this workflow. Let's work on the next one. Now we're going to take a look at the second method, which is using a color palette board, and we're going to be looking at this through the lens of world building. So if you think about it, we're going to take a style that we're going to apply to multiple scenes so that all the scenes look consistent throughout all of the images. Again, on this channel, our use case is mostly for cinematic filmmaking, but this could also be applied to something like a music video montage. And again, this right here is just an image node. If I were just to double click on the canvas and click image, you'd get that. And the only thing I did was change this to Nano Banana. I changed it to 16:9 because that's what the color palette is going to show up as. And the reason it says color palette board is because I just changed the name by double clicking on the name, and you can put in whatever you want. So I don't want you going hunting for something that says color palette board or the other one that had style extractor on it, because again, I just typed that stuff in, but it's basically the same thing. And the first thing we want to do is pull in the image that we're going to be creating the color palette swatch from. So I'm going to go over here to assets, and I'm going to find that image, and this is what it is right here. And again, this is another image from Midjourney. Midjourney has some awesome styles, and if I hadn't mentioned this before, you can't use their style references outside of Midjourney. So that's essentially what this process is. We're trying to mimic the styles that we see in Midjourney, pull them out of Midjourney, and use them in other tools because you have more in the way of customizing things. So this is what the image looks like right here. And the other thing that's great about being able to do something like this is that a lot of times you'll get images from Midjourney that don't look coherent. Like, this isn't too bad, but it's kind of messy. And I know that this is a style from old school manga, which is exactly what I prompted for. But again, Midjourney's image model is very much hit and miss, and there are better image models on the market now. So that's why we're doing this. And I've got this prompt right here that says, edit this image by analyzing its dominant colors and outputting only a clean color palette board. Do not include the original photo. And then it talks about the layout and how many rectangles, the grid size, and etc. So all I'm going to do is connect this to this, and I'll set this to, why not? I'm not going to export this image. So let's set it to 4K, and I'm going to hit enter and see what we get. Now, I had to run this a couple of times, and I'm pointing it out just in case you try this and you get something like this where it doesn't quite do exactly what you asked it the first time. And so even when I tried it again and I added critical to the prompt, it still didn't do what I asked. And so I had to run it a third time, and I finally got what I was asking for. So I just wanted to put that out there in case this doesn't work for you on the first roll. It usually does, just FYI. And it does look like it captured everything from this image in terms of that color swatch. And I like this look a lot better because it's very easy to see what the AI is determining the dominant colors to be. Because again, everything that we do is going to be off of this color swatch in terms of world building. And it's just nice to have that visual there just to keep things grounded. All right, now for the fun part. We're going to start building our cinematic world off of this swatch. And for that, we're going to hop over to Claude right quick. And as you can see here, I already got Claude to give me some scenes that I could use within this particular world. And I'm just going to choose probably 5 from this list. Now, what's very important about this prompt is that it says, and starts with, refer to the attached image, apply the exact color palette from the color swatch reference to A, and then this is going to be a rooftop contemplation, neon ramen bar, subway platform, and 2 others I haven't decided on just yet, but let's just say we'll do something like payphone conversation and motorcycle rider. So I'm going to hop back over to Flora, and what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go ahead and start loading up some of these nodes onto the canvas. I'm going to start with the first one. I want to use Seedream 4.5, and I want to use 16:9, and I want to make sure that the resolution is set to 2K. And actually, before I start to duplicate this node, let me show you something else that's going to make this a lot easier for you. Let's go ahead and connect this to this swatch, because we don't want to forget that it has to be connected so that the AI knows what you're referring to. And once you come here and you start to duplicate these nodes, all of them will already be connected to the swatch. If you didn't do that, you would have had to go back and connect all of these one by one. So just another tip for you before you start duplicating nodes and you're going to do something like style transfers, go ahead and connect the first node to the color swatch and then duplicate that node however many times you need. And this is what we've got, but I'm a bit anal, so let me go ahead and line it up how I want it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Claude, copy all of the prompts that I told you we're going to use, and I'm going to paste them in each individual block. And then once I do that, I'm going to show you the trick one more time how to kick all of these off at once. Okay, so now all of the prompts are present, and actually when you highlight all of these nodes, all of the prompts that you're using pop up like that. And again, each individual node has a different cinematic scene in it. And if you're new to node-based workflows, maybe you want to run these one by one just to get an idea of how all this works together. But I like to be much more efficient with my workflows now that I've gotten the hang of how all of this works. And I could literally just hit the enter key, or you could come up here and just click this button to run them all. And as you can see, it's doing its thing, and we'll see how this all turns out once they all finish generating. Okay, so all of the nodes have finished generating with Seedream 4.5, and this looks absolutely stunning. It followed everything from the color swatch, and we were able to generate 5 different random scenes based on everything that we did up here. We've got this one, we've got this one, we've got this one, which kind of looks a bit crazy because this train is actually pushed in against this one right here. But you could use the image edit feature to remove this train on this side, or you could just regenerate the image again and see what you get. We've got this scene, which again, you're gonna have to use your AI eye because the guy looks very cramped in this phone booth. Some of you may not be old enough to remember phone booths, but his head is literally against the ceiling and he's just crammed in this thing. But still, not too bad for a first roll. And this was the last scene that we rolled. And again, use your AI eye because this kind of looks like he's wearing a bra, and this hand does not have a glove, yet this one does, and I'm not too thrilled about these boots. But again, all of that looks good for a first try. And if you wanted to see a variation of any of these, all you have to do is come to whichever node that you want to rerun, just hit the enter button. Or if you wanted to see all of these with a different roll, again, you just highlight all of them, hit the enter button. Or you could even change the different models on whichever node you want and see what that looks like. But an easier way to do that would be just to zoom out, highlight them all, duplicate them, and it brings it all down here. And maybe we see what we get with Nano Banana Pro on all of these. Okay, so I've just set all of these nodes to Nano Banana Pro, and I'm just doing a double check because I don't think they were set to 2K. So let me just do that right now. Okay, so it's all Nano Banana Pro, all 2K. Remember that you want to highlight all of them at the same time and then hit enter. And this was Nano Banana Pro's interpretation of our prompts and the color swatch. And it's not too bad. Honestly, I don't like this style of drawing compared to Seedream 4.5. And I see with this image, we got a female this time. And that's only because the prompt just says shot of athletic figure. So the prompt never indicated if it was a male or female. So that was okay. And I see with this prompt, we did not get the extra subway train. So this was okay as well. And again, just to reiterate why a workflow like this is so badass is because you can take all of the various image models and instantly see from a bird's eye view how they are all responding to your prompting. Because again, if I had my choice between these two different drawing styles, I absolutely would go with Seedream 4.5 because it looks much closer to what I envisioned in terms of the look. I just noticed this right here. It put the color swatch on a wall. So again, all you'd have to do is just re-roll that and it would likely get you something different. But I'm not going to spend too much time on it in this video. But what's cool about this is that, again, you've already got 5 scenes. You can just take this, duplicate it, make 5 more, 10 more, 20 more, and you've got the beginnings of a cinematic music video montage. How cool is that? Now, if I remember and if I figure it out, because I know there is a way, I've just not done it just yet, I will share this workflow with you in the comments below this video. It's going to have these same images and the same prompts. The only thing you would have to do is just delete images or just put in new prompts and just overwrite everything that I've gotten here. Or it may be that you have to duplicate the workflow first within the workflow and then do your stuff that way. But either way, you will be able to use this workflow completely for free. All you have to do is just be sure to use my partner link in the description below, which not only gets you free credits, but if you decide to sign sign up for Flora for a subscription after you've ended up using all of your credits, you will receive a 25% discount off of your first year, but you only get that by using my partner link. So again, both the partner link and the link to this workflow should be in the description of this video or in one of the comments below the video. Be sure to check that out. So what do you guys think about this color reference testing workflow? Let me know in your comments below this video. And as always, if you like and enjoy tutorials like this, then be sure to hit the like button and also be sure to hit the subscribe button. That definitely helps us out here at the channel because this lets YouTube know that not only do you enjoy videos like this, that you would like to be alerted when we drop the next one. So once again, my name is Paul Donis Maximus. Thanks for checking out this video. Please join me in the next one.